We're going to fire up the tier list here for my thoughts on the upcoming ban list. Hopefully today, actually. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. I fired up the tier list here. I went through, I like looking at the other tier lists that I've seen other duelists share that they've made on the page here. So I'm kind of curious to see generalized thoughts for this. Or the Sword Soul Rhoda. Now, if you asked me if we gotten a list pre-Power of the Elements, the TCG slapping this on the wrist would have been the most TCG thing to ever do. I don't know if you guys kind of like watch the things that the TCG does, but like when a deck wins an event, they like to slap it around a little bit to bully it. But to be honest with you, I think this card's going to stay unlimited. This doesn't have much of a reason to move at this point. Now, E-Telly is an interesting one, because E-Telly at 3 facilitates the whole Punk package. Now, the interesting thing with the Punk package right now is it's not seeing play in tier. Now, when the Ishizu stuff comes out, that might change, but for where it sits right now in the format, I really want to return this card to a number that isn't 3. But I think that this hit solely depends on, or we do with the, well, actually with this card. Now, Pepega Ruler. Now, the first thing somebody's going to say is, my god, putting Pepega Ruler to 1 does nothing. Well, here's the thing about this card. The OCG never really abused this the way that we do. An Excavate 5, the ability to add something specific. This card is really, really good, alright? Like, this is the card that facilitates a majority of the E-Telly combo here. To be honest with you, I just kind of want this card out of the game. I feel like this card becomes a problem as too generic of a card. And personally, I can go either way with, you know, leaving it at, you know, unlimited, you know, doing like this, alright? But I think the most sensible hit is you can leave E-Telly at 3 if you ban Pepega Ruler. Because, honestly, what does the E-Telly package really do at this point? It speeds up the process to make what level 8 that matters. So that's just my 2 cents there. Dimension Shifter. Oh my god, a rogue deck wins and everybody loses their mind. I'm fine with leaving D-Shifter at 3. I don't think that this card does enough to warrant a ban. It is a floodgate that gets a turn by, that gives a deck a chance to win. You've seen up until this weekend's YCS on how long it took variants to kick in for Exosister to get a win. Alright? I know how upset people are about me saying that, but it's honestly just my opinion. Helki Fibrax. I just want this card gone. I'm sick of this card. This card is the nuts, man. Like, this is the card that everybody's pointing at right now. Go and just get out of the format. I understand, for a majority of what's going on right now, that this card hasn't done a lot recently. I'm just future-proofing the crap out of this. Get rid of it. I think Blaster can come back to 1. If there was a Dragon Roller on this list that I think can come back, honestly, I think it's Blaster. Blaster and Tempest running around, yeah, I understand it's 2800 that can spot removal something in fire, but at this point, I feel like we're being... obviously, Redox is the most busted one for the Monster Reborn effect, but I'm fine with this coming back. I'm also just going to say I'm fine with Spellbook of Judgment coming back as well. Spellbook of Judgment was really relevant for like 1 whole week in Japan when it came off the list, and then it just rode off into the sunset, never to be seen again. I think this card's fine. Considering, you know, the current power scaling within the format, I'm not saying that it's good, because it certainly is not, alright? Getting a callback to getting this removed, I think would be very, very, very nice. The Rite of Armesia package. Man, if you ban Griffin Rider, these can stay at 3. Honestly. I feel like the way that the TCG might approach this, though, would just be semi-limits. The problem is, like, what have they done? Like, you see play of the little bit of this in Sprite. Like, that's it. It doesn't really do anything else. So your options are you ban Griffin Rider, get him out of the game, or if you ban Griffin Rider, these are fine at 3. Like, yeah, Illegal Knight exists, but, like, okay. Like, I think if we're going to keep Griffin Rider, though, then you semi-limit these and start climbing them up the list right now. Gazelle, with the current power creep, you can put that crap to 2 and call it a day, man. Like, just move it on up the ladder. Scythe, yeah. people want this gone. I mean, the format is make big board, yay, or scythe lock opponent. Scythe locking the opponent. The interesting thing is, I mean, once Hulk is gone, that takes out the TG Wonder Magician combo. Yeah, you can still Baron de Floor tag into this. Understandable. But that's really just about that. So, interesting little interactions. Astrograph, can I move this? I mean, it depends on Electromite, right? Like, I almost feel like this can move to 2 at this point. Like, as much as I want Pendulum players to be able to play the game, you know, like Electromite and things like that. We don't actually have Electromite on this list. I feel like the TCG will probably just still leave that where it is right now. Monkey board? Please, monkey board. I would love to be able to do more things with monkey board. But... I don't know. Shooting Riser can come back to 3. If we ban Hulk, this card doesn't matter. Like, this is irrelevant as crap. Oh, man. Tanky can also come back to 3. I mean, what do you really care about right now with the current power creep? You've accelerated the format so much at this point. Like, what does it matter? Like, just bring it back, man. Like, I think that everybody looks at this format and goes, you know, it's so fast. Like, this is so crazy. Like, oh my gosh. Like, okay. Well, what does it matter? Like, just bring it back. It doesn't do anything right now. Light stage. So, right now the TCG's been abusing this with the level 2. I guess this depends on sprite hits. I think they'll probably leave this here, to be honest with you. Dynamite. Honestly, this card can come to 3. I don't... Considering everything else going on in the format right now, I don't see a problem with that. Like, honestly. Maxi is just going to stay banned forever, in my opinion. I don't have much of a rhyme or reason for that. Colossus, I also don't want to see come back. I understand that people are like, oh my gosh, like, you can bring it back. Honestly, I think Harp Horror has a better... I want Harp to come back just because I want to see this card do something. Like, this is like the wild card of the format that can splice up and change something. This is just too much of a generic floodgate, I feel like, in Konami's eyes. So I don't see much of a reason to change that. Wall of Revealing Light, I feel like you can... This is still limited to 1, right? I feel like we can move this now and not really care. I'm dodging around a couple of things here. Storm Winds. I'm fine with this staying unlimited as well. I don't really see much of a reason to bully this out of the format currently. Trident. This is... As much as I think that this card could come back, it just causes too many problems every time it comes back. Like, I hate to say it, but we got to keep it locked up. Brain Infusion can stay unlimited. Like, well, what does... This card does nothing. Like, honestly... Auroradon, I feel like the TCG is going to keep this banned after the banning of Halki Fibrax because they're going to be scared of what this does, which is perfectly understandable, but I would like to see some sort of movements on that. Super Poly, the community's been calling for this to get re-restricted. I do kind of think that 3 is a little bit absurd. I'm fine with Super Poly moving back. Anti-Spell is not going to move on this list to people thinking that. Very interesting. Harpy's Featherstorm also is not going to move on this list. What other interesting thing? Fairy Tale Snow can get out of the game. This card is so annoying to deal with. Now that I understand, like, maybe a Curious Hit might be coming because they're going to dance around the problems here, but for the most part, yeah. Also got Called by the Grave. I think this is going to stay at 1. I don't see much of a reason for that. Fusion Destiny, I think they're going to leave that at 2. Cyberdark could actually come back to 1. I mean, what... T setting at this point, like, what does this really do? Like, just that. I want Toad banned. Please. Please. I understand, like, this is the main thing that Sprite gets away with making their combos, but it's just that. Unfortunately, when I look at danger cards right now, I think the TCG is going to hit some... We're probably going to see this continue on. Now, Mystic Mine. Probably should be banned. If you do this, I think you can move this back, in my opinion. You can definitely move the Metaverse back to a higher number. But if you end up wanting to leave Mystic Mine in the format, then you better better be ready to ban this and demise the land. All right, I know people just want the problem taken care of. I understand that. But your other approach is, if you're going to do that, you're going after demise of the land and this. All right, so that's where I'm sitting right now for what should probably go. What do you guys think? Please, so comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and well, see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.